Messing with EP Foods. Today I got a very special guest, man. We in his house, but we had to come check in, man. For y'all who don't know, Jaime Payne Ortiz, he's a legend, man. This interview right here, man, y'all don't even understand, man. He a living legend. He's done a lot for the game, not just one artist, but he's crafted an H-Town sound. He's been behind a lot of big names, man. And I'm just honored to be in front of this man today, man. So appreciate it, brother. Thank you very much, man.
Yeah.
Shit, I guess we're gonna jump right in, right? Jump in, man. Let's see. Start from the beginning. Where the name Payne come from, and what does it mean to you now?
Well, the name Payne really came from actually football. I was infamous for just being that missile that they said. I had this problem with remembering plays, but they also know that it's like they said, hey, number 56 hit that motherfucker. This guy hit that motherfucker. This guy, whatever. So it was like a trained assassin type thing where it just like I would hear these plays and like, who do you want me to hit? That's all I need to know. But it got to the point where I joined football because my dad just always had the kids in all kinds of sports. Coming from a family a lot of our families are not so functional, keeping kids in sports helps them to deal with the things that happen at the house. So he kept us in sports all the time. So I was always in football since the Optimist Club. I don't know if anybody knows what that is, but it's this organization that starts kids playing football since they're like 4 or 5 or 6. The little bitty kids that you see barely can run. So I was in that for a long time. But fast forward, all through playing little league sports, I was always a bigger set kid. So whenever I would in baseball, I would hit the ball. It wouldn't go straight up. It would just go line drive. And they're like, damn, I hit kids in the face, and it was just like I'd always cause a problem. So then it was like football. Okay, you need to play football because you can hit people and not get in trouble. I was like, okay, let me play that. So being a heavier set kid, I've always played rough, especially in the neighborhood that I grew up in. Anyway, so I get to high school, and it just was known that get this guy to hit this guy, and they're going to be feeling the pain. So, I could keep telling stories about high school, but that's really where it came from.
So they call it the house of pain. Pain came from football, not from music.
From just hitting people really hard. And then when I got into music, it just was like, well, what am I going to call myself? Now I'm going to say this one name. And everybody clowns me for it, but I thought it was dope. My name, so breakdancing came out, and that's when I was thinking about doing artist things or dancing, singing, whatever. So my name was Zitro. That's my name backwards.
Okay.
Ortiz. So I was Zitro, a play off of Turbo. I don't know if y'all knew about that.
I know. Yeah.
So that's why I really like that name, but so many people didn't like it. So I said, you know what? What's another name that I went by? Oh, well, I went by Payne. Okay, well, you know what? You're MC Payne. I was like, MC Payne, because back then, MC, that's what at the beginning of rap, that's what you were called, an MC. Yeah. So it was a mic controller. So MC Payne. And it just stuck after that. And then it shortened to just Payne. So everybody that I ever got introduced to was like, Payne, boom. And it just stuck. There's no way I could leave that name. No matter what I tried, the name was stuck.
Now it's a name that rings bells when you walk in the room.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I said, what pulled you into producing? Like, was there a certain record, an artist, or just a moment that just made you think, like, this is what I want to do? That's pretty much set it in stone for you.
So, not only were my dad had us in sports, he also had us in the church a lot. Again, not to get too deep, our family wasn't the most functional family in the world. So what happened was, if he got us into sports, when the sports season was gone, what else would he do? So were in church. So in church, he was always like just that kind of guy that wanted to be part of the church somehow. So he started doing the music part of it. And as he's doing the music part of it, he just is like, he can't play an instrument. He's musically not talented. Right? So what happens is he says, okay, and this is Guadalupe Church in Baytown. He says, hey, there's I know we have a band, let's get it together. They put the band together, they're playing church music, and they said, hey, why don't we record this and put it on tape? So they start recording, and slowly but surely they start getting equipment. So he's not there every day, all day, and all that stuff. He's just one Sunday we're probably doing the kitchen. Next Sunday we're probably cleaning next Sunday we're probably cleaning the church. Then the fairgrounds that was connected to the church, mowing the lawn. So you just did everything. You didn't just do one thing at the church. So anyway, he was mostly involved with the music because he just was fascinated with the music. So long story short was, I was just always amazed at how a guitar could make so many sounds or so many things. Like why do I feel sad? Even when I was a kid, I remember like watching people play them in the faces that they would make when they would do these guitar licks and stuff. And it was just like, man, it was amazing seeing that look on their face while they were just playing any instrument they would play. Just if you look at their face, they're just so deep into it, man. I mean, it's crazy. They're just like they're living. So watching that all through the in my young life. I have an older brother and sister, but they listen to music. But seeing the church play and feeling all those songs. I mean, I remember there was a song, La Barea, and that song would make me, like right now, I'm trying not to get choked up, but that song would get me every time, man. It would get, no matter how many times we hear that song, La Barea, La Barea, man, it just threw me up. But it was because of that music, man. The way that they would play it would just like just go through my soul, man. I would be like, that's what I want to do. That's what I want. I need that. I don't have nothing in my life. You know, growing up, I had so many. Again, not to get you deep into it, but our family was very dysfunctional. So I needed something like that in my life. So I just gravitated more towards music, and it was something that I felt like God was calling me to. So I got my first set of headphones. Started listening to. I mean, I could name a lot of things, but a lot of artists. But there was a couple in like Michael Jackson at the time. We went to one of his concerts, and it was just the most amazing thing I had seen. Of course, I'm a little bit older now, well, a lot older, but to see that whole production, I just, man, it was incredible, and I was like, that's me, that's all of that's happening there is me. Now, being on stage, being the main, I'm not saying that part, but I felt like there was something was calling me to that. So there was other concerts that we went to, like there's this pavilion in Houston. So I went to a couple of concerts over there. Now this was before rap. Now,
yeah, you said Michael Jackson, so really all there.
The thing is you got to understand. I came into music before there was even such thing as rap. There was no rap. It didn't even exist when I came in. So it was just about music at that time, the music of the instruments and whatever genres that they were. But for the most part, it was pop, R&B, and some.
That's kind of like the scene you came into with starting music.
Metal like Cream, Boston, Led Zeppelin, things like that. And on top of that, you still had Michael Jackson. You had just all kinds of groups in there.
That's why Gotti runs to you for the rock music, huh?
Yeah. Because we all kind of come up from that time.
Yeah.
We know the elements. So just to answer the question, it wasn't one song I heard. It was the entire
everything
thing of music that made me feel like that was me. Was anything in that music thing is me. I couldn't do anything else except music. So
you just fell in love with music. Period.
That's what it was.
Shoot. So you've been in the game for decades now. What's the biggest difference between how music was made back then and now? What do you think? Is there a really big change in it? It's made it a lot easier with the technology now, or was there?
And you know what? I could say both. I could say there'd be a couple of guys. Well, okay, or there'd be a guy with a guitar and maybe two friends in a garage just jamming, writing a song, and that's all they needed. You know, there was no computers, there was no plugins, no DAWs, no all this AI. There wasn't none of that. All it was just a couple of dudes who knew, or women that knew how to play music, and then they found out studio in the phone book. Actually, you had to go through the phone book and look up studios and go like, oh, there's a studio in my town or not in my town. So they would go to the studio and just, this is our song, we're singing. So that was a beautiful thing. It was raw. It was a group of people who had a lot of emotions that wanted to put it out to the world.
Beats were different too, then, right?
They were.
You could only add like so many sounds to a beat when you would make it back then. It wasn't.
So we had these things called a reel to reel, and you only had 8 tracks that you could record on. You had 2 reel to reels, and you had 16. Now there were some, tracking situations that you could do 16 at a time, but those studios were out of reach for a lot of small town studios. And at that time in Baytown, there wasn't really one that was, 32 tracks or whatever. Like 32 tracks was a big thing back then. So so that was its own thing, and I remember that it was awesome. It was incredible to see people say, "No, you got it wrong. Do this, do that." All 6 people, all 4 people had to be on point at one time playing the whole thing, and you lived that song until you got it perfect. Okay, that was its own beautiful thing back then. But now it's almost like you got a beat and you got it in your head. Somebody sent you a beat, a producer, whatever, and you're just like, man, you just got those headphones on, and you feel like your soul is just riding with that beat, man. And then you get on the mic, and you just feel like you're pouring your soul out on this beat. And then like you're rapping, then you open your eyes, and then it's like, whoa, what did I just do? So each thing has its good parts and its bad parts. The earlier thing I talked about, the bad part was you had to have all your homies with you. You couldn't do it in pieces, right? It was so if one messed up, everybody messed up. Okay, so that was the bad part of that thing. Now forward, it's just you in there at the studio. Yeah, it's a little bit easier. It's a lot easier. But some of the soul is not there no more. You're not vibing with your homeboy.
Yeah, you gotta
sit there. He's playing that lick, and you're just. I know this might sound funny to some people, but you look at your homeboy, and your homeboy's looking at you, and you're just like, man, we're doing this. We're just jamming. We're fucking killing it.
You're in the moment of just living it then and there.
Right. Sometimes being in the studio just with the beat, sometimes that's gone. Not all the time, but sometimes.
This is when you start a track, what's your process? Do you build around like the artist, their energy, or do you usually already have a vision for something you're coming in for the day to make?
Yes.
All of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some people like to start a beat off with the bass line. Some people like to start off the beat with the drums. Some people like to start off with just thinking of a person or an artist in general. So there's a big difference between a beat maker and a producer. A beat maker mostly does beats on how they're feeling, how they see things, and they're constantly turning out beats. Like they could have 300 of them, and they just show them to you. And a lot of times you'll actually even get to know a producer or a beat maker just by listening to their music.
Yeah, you're
like, damn, this dude's.
They all have like a certain just a pattern to the beat. It's the same way it starts. They like make their own like signature in the
Yeah,
beat.
yeah, aggressive or mean or sad. You know, some of them are just always sad. They sound like soundtracks to murder or something like that. You know, what a producer can do is not only can he make a beat, but he can also get people together, like a guitarist, or a keyboardist, a pianist, or whoever, and say, "Hey, I got this drum beat loop. Can you play on top of this?" And then they'll get musicians to come in and then lay tracks on top of a beat or whatever that the producer is good at. Some producers are, you know, they're usually pianists, keyboardists that lay something down and say, "Okay, I want, man, if I can get a drummer, I know these guys, put these songs together." And then you have, obviously, like what I mentioned earlier, it's a beat maker that doesn't need any of that. He's got the whole workflow, he's got the drum kits, he's got every sound imaginable available to him. And so he searches. I would hope that they search their soul and search their environment and say, you know, that's uh, you know, this is what I'm putting forward.
You could tell when a producer puts his all into a beat, or a beat maker pretty much. You can tell when they do it, and then nowadays there's the beats where it's just it's like them. Everything they uploaded sounded exactly the same back to back.
Yeah, it sounds real repetitive. It sounds real repetitive. So yeah.
Let me see what's next. Out of all the projects that you've produced, what's one of the ones you think tested you the most out of all of them? Like, probably one of the biggest projects that was just like, oh.
Well, for sure, for sure. Let me take a little quick drink. I'm getting a little parched here. For sure, it was the legendary When Devil Strike South Park Mexican album. That album, I mean, we could be here for days before I get to the soul of it. But as you could imagine, he's in prison, and we got to get an album out. So if you can just kind of use your imagination, you can kind of think of how many crazy ways it would take to get lyrics from him and put it on songs. So I'm not gonna, a lot of, one thing I really respect and appreciate about you, before we did this interview, you weren't gonna do those gotcha moments where you were trying to ask me questions that would be illegal to answer.
No, yeah.
You know, like catch me up or try to find out where the bodies are buried and all that other shit. You know, that's. I'm not ever going to answer any of those questions. That's where
it's PM to answer when he comes home.
Yeah, when he comes home, he's going to answer all those questions. That's something. That's for him to answer, not for me.
Yeah.
You know, do I know? I know what I need to know. That's pretty much it. So I appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, that was the most difficult album to do because it involved every bit of. I mean, imagine you just got locked up for what the charge was. And so there's half the world saying you were the worst of the worst. And then there's the other half saying, oh my God, they just took our there's a lot of words I could use, but they took our guy out, you know. And there's grown men on the streets just getting emotional about it, you know. And so we had to build an album that reflected everything that was going on at that time. And just, you know, so many people were like, it's over, you know. Even in the news, they were trying to say, like, Mexicans doing right. Well, of course, you know. So it was just so many people talking so many different things. The only thing we could do was answer back with an album. Yeah. So I know a lot of people, they have a lot of trials and tribulations in their life with putting music together. A lot of sacrifices go on because it's not free. It's not easy. People put a lot of money, blood, sweat, and tears into it. But for me, that was the hardest thing because we had an entire culture and an entire group of people uh, that were lost at that situation at that time. And coming out with that album almost took every bit of everyone's soul to get that thing out to the world. So yeah, and again, we could keep going on and deeper into it, but
That's true. This is people want to know, how did your connection come into the Dope House? Like, what got you there? What started you out with the Dope House and got you finally in with SPN? Because he had a lot of producers throughout the years. There's always been a lot of them involved, but your name is one of the ones that you were around for years. You stuck out, and people know you. Your name has that weight.
yeah. Well, so just a small bit of it, and if you can, try to keep it on,
Nah, you
know, on time and on track. It all started back in, but it's I live in Baytown. I grew up in Baytown. I was born in Houston, but lived in Baytown, which is a city small. If nobody knows about Houston, Houston is like this loop of highways, and then they call it the Greater Houston area, which is actually like other little, including little cities like Pasadena, LaPorte, Baytown, Jacinto City, Port Arts. No, Port Arts.
It's further, right?
It's way too far. Yeah.
Because everybody now there's like more of a spotlight on Baytown because of Mexican OT right now.
Yeah.
He's brought up his city a lot.
Yeah. So Baytown, where I'm from, Baytown had a lot of kids because we had Chevron, Bayer, DuPont, and another grass company. They had their headquarters, their chemical Exxon. They had their headquarters there. So what does that mean? It just means a lot of people moving in to work, and then they have a ton of kids. So we had 4 5A schools there. It was crazy. Anyway, long story short is when you grow up in a small town, looking at the 4th largest city in America, you're like, that's the Emerald City. The Emerald being the Wizard of Oz. Whoa, this is where we need to be. This is my dreams coming true over there. Because it's this big town. So you go to the Houston, and you feel like so small in such a big place. Some people get scared. Some people say, "Yes, this is me. I'm proud for this." So there's a group of my friends that were like, some group was like, we're gonna show Houston's our strength. But for me, I feel like I was already part of Houston because we all like. Another little story is my family was really Texas strong. We just loved anything Texas. We were proud to be Texans. We were that's it. It didn't matter what label they put on us.
I think that's all it takes. You ask us where you from. We're Texan before we're American.
Yeah,
we're
exactly.
Texan before anything.
We're Texas American.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I felt kind of like Houston was just the next place to go. I grew up in this small place. Let me go to this other place. So after that, after all of that happened, just like to keep it going. We finally got enough reason, and the reason was that there is a lot of clubs in Houston. There's not a lot of clubs in these small towns. Yeah, we visited the skating rink and all these other places. Skating rink, but that's an old school thing. But we did all the places we could, and we were knocking it out. But to us, it wasn't enough. So, and I mean us, it was an original group of guys. Day one, BFO, Email, DJ E Money, you know who you are. Rob, you know who you are. So, that was a big thing for us back then. And there's a bunch of other names like PMG. There's so many names I could name off, but those were the hardcore beginning. Corey Leday and his brother, it was small. It ended up being a small group. And we all decided, some of us decided, hey, the next step was to go to Houston. Other groups was like, oh man, we got it here. We don't need to go to Houston. So time passes by, and one of my homeboys, Rob Ortiz, uh, shows us this tape, this South Park tape. He says, "You want to play?" And I say, "I ain't trying. You know, I'm such a fan of our stuff. I didn't want to hear no one else's stuff." But the thing was, as I said, I don't want to really listen to his music. I want to know where he's at. So he says, "Well, he had a friend that actually worked at Dope House. And he would find out where they were doing shows at Houston. So we would pop up and just, okay, we'd be in the crowd just checking it out. And I'm like, bro, this is who we need to be, where we need to be. This small town getting drunk and high in the garage ain't gonna do nothing. We got to go where it's happening." And so I was like, "All right, come on, guys, let's go." And so I looked behind it. Damn, I thought there was a whole 50, crap, 50. And it was only like 3 or 4. It was like, hey, if you want to go, let's go. So we went, and it was a block party. South Park was there. It happened to be one of those parties where it was just mostly black, very few Hispanics. So when Carlos started rapping, I was like, "Where's he?" So we finally met up with him, and I guess at that time, you just gathered around people you felt comfortable with. And at that time, because it was mostly Hispanics, the Latins with us, we kind of gravitated towards him and said, "Hey, man, appreciate our, what's that, man?" And he's to him, he doesn't really see it that way. We're all in the same vibe.
Yeah.
But at the time when I met him, it's like his name's South Park Mexican, so I'm thinking he's all about the Mexican thing, right? So, which is good for me, because there was a couple of times I was in some studios where they were like, "You do rapping?" "You don't look like you do rapping." Like, so anyway, long story short on that, I can keep going on about the same story about how we kind of inched our way to Houston. We eventually go to a show where he's at. He says, "Hey, uh, well, I have to say this part. We had a CD, a burned CD of beats, and he heard the beats, and he was like, 'Yo, you put this together?' And he's like, 'Yeah, we did.' So how'd you put it together?" It's like, "It's all right." I had a power converter with our beat making, with a keyboard, our 880, and 2 speakers, and off the tape. We were ready for anything. Like the 880, you could hook up a mic to it, and we had the speakers. We would do a show right there if we needed to.
Yeah.
Open up the van, and boom. So I said, "Man, we did it right there on that rig." So, well, I was using an ASR 10 keyboard. Anyway, he says, "That's pretty dope. Come meet me at the studio." So I went to the studio. They had a gate. It was closed. Needless to say, they weren't really welcoming. Some of the people that were there weren't welcome. But I finally ended up calling him and said, "Hey, man, you told me to come through."
You remember you telling me the story, man? Dirty's the one that let you in,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Rest in peace, my boy.
Yeah.
Dirty works, man.
Be Camarillo, man. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Man. Sorry it happened the way it happened, man. And I just hope you found peace somehow.
Ain't nobody forget about you. You can still put it on.
Yeah. No, hey, we didn't forget about you. His homie Red. Should have been there for him.
Hey, you in the story though, G. You made it here too.
Yeah.
Until he let you in, right? And
So he finally was able to go to the office where his studio was, and tell Carlos that there was people out there waiting for him. And Carlos was like on the phone with me, so I heard Pete say, "Hey, this is that." Well, Pete came to the gate and said, "Who are you here to see?" "Here to see Carlos." I'm talking to him on the phone, And back then, if you weren't on Motorola, you were burning up minutes. Like, "Oh man, I'm burning up my minutes, man." I need to talk to somebody right now. I got like maybe 800 minutes left. We were. That was just a funny thing back then. Anyway, he says, "Yeah, why aren't you in?" I said, "Because your homeboy won't let me in." "What?" So he comes out there and he lets me in. He opens up this huge gate, 16-foot gate. You're not climbing in. I mean, you could if you wanted to, but it's not very easy. Anyway, gate opens up. We reintroduce ourselves. Remember, we're the guys and all this stuff. It's just cool. So I get there and I'm thinking, we're gonna go straight to the studio. But he says, all right, cool. Well, I'm gonna go into the studio. You know, one thing you gotta have among anything else in this business is you got to learn how to read the fucking room, man. You got to learn how to read. If you feel like somebody's giving you an opportunity, but they're like, kind of like, I'm a little busy right now, then, you know, give them the space. Give the person the space. I was like, okay, I felt it, you know, a little bit like, okay, well, because there's some people over there, they got beats, they got stuff. Well, make yourself at home. I got some shit to do over here. Like, I was like, I was going to listen to beats. I thought we were going to record. I thought we was going to do all this shit, man. I'm ready to do, man, I ain't on all that. I could have been that way, but I was like, okay, you know what? Got into the gate. What's the next? So let me go meet some people. As soon as I walk into there's a, it's like a warehouse that has where trucks can pull up to, 18-wheelers.
Yeah, the bay.
So the bay's pretty extra. So we walk up to the bay, and bam, man, just people I didn't know, but it was all the legends in there, just like they're doing just battle rap, just constantly, just like imagine like in medieval times, people just sparring with swords or in a karate place.
Kind of like those old videos when you look up on YouTube with Big Ike and Bing, and everybody's in the studio with Lucky, and they're all just going back to back freestyle.
Yeah, things like that. But unfortunately for us, we weren't really into camera stuff back then. All of that stuff is memories that we have that didn't really get captured, which is, it sucks, man, because it was an amazing place, man. I mean, it was dog eat dog, man. You couldn't mess up one time, because if you did, that was it. You had to rise up through the ranks. You weren't getting nothing for free. So, you know, long story short was, and I'm gonna try my best not to say that one. So,
no,
long story short,
you good,
that it's a drinking game. So, anyway, when I got there, I had to work my way up to the ranks, and it was not around. Rob said we got there at 96. Like, there's no way we got there at 96. Okay, 97. We'll say 98. 1998. Some people weren't even born. We got there at 98. Third Wish. Getting done. Joey T. Special shout out to Joey T. That's one guy that believed in me early in the game. Third Wish was wrapped up. They were already doing shows, all kinds of stuff. Purity was coming out. So year 2000, Purity stuff is starting to really take off. So what's going to take too long is from 98 to 2000, all the things that happened from there. And I'm going to spare a story, but Shadow knows the story. Shadow Ramirez, he's the original person that was there when I started working there. When I got there, a situation brewed up where I was offered an opportunity. Shout out to Shadow Ramirez and his twin brother Grim. There was an opportunity for me to fill in some big shoes, really big shoes, and I took the opportunity. And from 2000 on, I was considered the go-to guy, the chief engineer, chief producer, all of that. Get all these ruffians in line and then still do the office work, which was pretty tough. But I had proved myself within those 2 years that I could do that. It wasn't just by myself. You know, shout out to Carolyn Rodriguez. She helped a lot. Juan Gotti, when he finally got his voice, he picked up and said, okay, we had separate little leaders that were like the outside of the dope house thing. What I mean by outside, like there was the main crew, and then there was the up and comings. Shout out to all of them. You know, even here with Hustlers, there's just so many names I could mention. Monstro. And I mean, there's a lot of people. Major Riley was even part of it.
Major Riley.
Yeah. I mean, like Bash, Baby Bash, South Park, Happy P, even Low G was he liked slumming it with us. He liked to slum it with us, but then he went to the office. Uh, and he was one of the few people. Rashid was another one. He was huge. He was with the core group, but he loved to slum it with us, and he knew that he had studio time with me. So that was the major moving force forward. Was that I had a few, like the Twin Berettas, Quota Key. He was one of the generals at the time to help me keep the place in order. You know, Rob, the original DFO that I was telling you about, was another guy that kept the place clean and swept up and made sure people didn't fuck up. I mean, if anybody even looked wrong, Rob, you weren't gonna fuck up over there. And so we had a strong crew. And then when the unfortunate happened, South Park, another guy that was there too was instrumental help was Uchi Longa. He's got his own thing going, but I just wanted to mention his name. Uchi Longa was there for quite a bit. You know, Coast from the Twin Berettas was there like he was day one every day. He was the first one there, last one to leave. He was instrumental. His brother actually, Slip, helped me out so much with. I had so many assignments going on. It's like, Slip, can you help me? That he just took over the back end of Dokos, and I was in the front end of Dokos. So he was very instrumental on keeping Dream alive when everything said it's over. When the ship was sinking and everybody left thinking it's going to go in the water, they were like, how come it's not going down any further? It's like, bail in the water. Where I ran to the hole, I'm over there welding underwater. You know, I'm doing the best I can to keep that ship from sinking. Not to get too deep into it, is because I had invested a lot of my life to move from where I was to music. And it was like, I'll be damned if I just made that decision to quit everything and to do music full time. Mind you, I have kids. I got rent. I got a wife. I got things I got to pay for. I got all kind of family obligations. You know, I just can't. You
can't just quit when you're going.
Right. Oh, I fucked up. He got a lot. Man, we gotta go home, man. This ain't cool.
It's hard to follow your dream when you have kids and a family, especially.
It is,
and I can relate to that. Being at my age, having 6 kids, a wife, running the store, running the Instagram page, music, working with a record label right now. I understand, especially when you have those days where it's not doubt, it's just like, this shit better work out, because if it don't, there ain't no fucking plan B. This was plan A through
right. Plan B. This is it.
It's everything, brother. Yeah. So I understand that 100%, because bro, when I have those busy days doing music, brother, believe me, when it's everybody thinks it's all fun and games till they see me on the phone all day just like that. One phone call, another one, and I'll just, can I just put y'all on a 3-way? Put y'all in a group chat.
Yeah.
Stop making me call back and forth real quick.
Yeah.
No, it's hard, but it is. But I think having that pressure on your back and having people depend on you makes it go harder though.
It does.
It sure does.
It does. Because when you have people, when you have people looking at you and towards you and for you, you almost feel like man, it's just, you don't want to let nobody down.
It's a different energy within you that burns when you gotta make it for sure. Yeah, it's different.
You just don't want to let no one down, and you want to feel like you know, something in you says keep doing it.
Yeah, like my kids being smaller, your kids are always your biggest fans of what you do. When I was heavily involved in music, like doing it myself.
Yeah.
Now I'm behind the scenes, but I'm touching bigger bases. Like, they're older, so their appreciation for it and the reaction is harder. Like, now my son sees me do this and that. He's like, I told him today I was coming here. He's like,
that's you, Bob.
But with him, for reals, Dad?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
What's his name?
Christian.
Christian. Shout out to Christian, to the oldest.
And it gives you a different purpose, different energy. Like, they get to brag about it now. So you're like, I can't fail it. It's different. Yeah, no, I understand where that comes from. For sure. Yeah. I wanted to ask, what's your favorite memory of doing with the When Devil Strikes, doing that album. It's the best memory out of all of them right there.
I almost broke down right now. Woo! Like my homeboy said, he knows who he is. I'll cry right now. Because we were just talking about how emotional things get coming up. It was like, you can't break down. You can't break down. You can't break down. You can't break down. Then it got to us like we were just so broken down. We would literally say, you can't break the broke down. You're already broken down so far. But the answer to that question was when we finally said the album is done, the When Devil Strike album. Now, I can't take away from all the other stuff that I was doing with Gotti and the stuff with DFO and all that. It's just this was an impossible task that couldn't happen, shouldn't happen, wasn't going to happen. It's just the impossible
It was
thing.
like a make or break type moment for the label.
It was for everything, for myself. Like, you sometimes every now and then in life you say, "Am I doing the right thing?" Like, God, am I supposed to be here? Like, why have I want this? And when that hit, the stores and the major labels were like, how did this and all the things. It was like I was standing on top of the mountain saying, like yes or fuck yeah. Like you just don't know what you want to scream. You just know you want to scream at the top of the mountain saying, I did it. I finished it. I made it happen. When everyone else turned their back on us, nobody was there when we were doing that shit. What I mean by we, and I don't mean to throw no shade on nobody or no hate on nobody, but it was just me and Carlos on the fucking phone. That's all it was. I get mad. Sometimes I get too emotional about it. I start getting very angry because I hear all these people bumping their guns.
But it started, well, not wouldn't say a trend, but it started a new wave because after that, now how many artists do you hear rap through the phone and try to release music and tapes now and freestyles, and then now they got the tablets in jail. People are dropping little videos. Right. It's sad that because nobody ever thought, let me record a fucking album through whatever position he was in. You know what I'm saying? So it was a lot writing on it.
So this right here was blood, sweat, and tears right there. That's blood, sweat, and tears. I earned that shit. All the scars I have on me, I earned that. Can't nobody take that away from me. All these stories I hear about this and that and all this other stuff, I'm not going to say nothing on it, but I did that shit.
Yeah, no, it was... That album was, I still think, one of the dopest albums. The last album he dropped, that one was, there was a lot writing on it.
That one and Last Chair Violinist.
Yeah.
My daughter's actually on that album. The first song on it. But that's
what song was she on, or what song was
the first? It's called The Baby's Prayer.
Oh, no, okay.
Yeah, that's. But we can talk about that in some other time.
I got you, man.
Rest in peace. That's my daughter.
Let's see. The early 2000s, Houston had its just momentum that was crazy. And I know you were a part of all that. What was it like seeing just Houston blow up that year? Like being a part of it and seeing the sound just...
Some of the reasons why I kind of don't do interviews, because a lot of it, there's a few people in the industry in Houston, very few of us, that had to do this. We just had to put our head down and just, while everyone is making the noise, we had to be the ones behind everything, making it happen. And there's a whole list of names that I could go through. But I kind of just want to do a shout out to all the unsung heroes of the guys on the computers that were learning the things at the time while that sound was being developed. All the sip and surf and all this and all these, they, that was dope. But a lot of us was like, okay, y'all got it? Cool, barbecue and you're sipping, Well, I got to get back to the computer. Days and nights just clicking and clicking and clicking and clicking. And there's this one dude at every record label, every little click that's out there. It's got that one dude that just sits there behind the computer all day long, editing everything, so that when the songs are ready to come out and they're doing the, swing and swerve with the biscuit tuck on lean, all that. All of us were just, now I can sleep for about 3 days. So a lot of, it's bittersweet. It was so dope that it was happening, but at the same time, at what cost? At what cost for the original people doing it? So I don't have any regrets or any fears. I'm 54 years old, but it did take a lot out of.
You were behind a big movement. Yeah.
Many years, up to 20. So, some people just. I can tell you, I did a stretch for like 5 years behind it. Barely saw the sunlight.
I mean, I've heard a lot of people say it takes to make your dreams. You got your first 5 years usually unpaid, the hardest, the struggle. It usually takes about 5 years before you really sit there to see the results of your work. Like,
right, there's a saying that goes, it takes 10 years to become an overnight success.
It's a lot of work.
People think, oh, this dude just popped up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Man, but you don't know the 6 years I've been rapping since third grade. Well, he's right, because you're 18, but still, I'm not going to take away how long all the things that they had to go through. Being told you're whack, you're this, you're that, like stick to school, you ain't no good, you ain't that. And now when they're blowing up, all of a sudden it's like they want to tell everybody fuck off, but I guess if you get to this point where you say, you know what, I'm happy where I'm at. I don't need to put hate on no one. Let's just move forward. But
yeah, of
but
course.
you know who was all the little motherfuckers out there.
Bro, to me, that's all I'm saying. Like,
the podcast hits 1 million.
The interview now.
I'm here to say,
bro, I'll tell you, the interview
when it hits
now,
1 million, I'm the one that's predicted it.
No, yeah,
hit 1 million.
and the interview for now, like just me and you just being dope, no matter what the numbers are at the end of the day, for me, it's an accomplishment, a milestone under me that even if they don't see it, how long it took me to get here, just to even be in the room with you, it's cool because my memories are, when we talk about When Devil Strikes, I was in junior high.
Yeah.
I had just started rapping, started doing music.
Mm-hmm.
I remember walking around junior high with earphones on and a CD player with When Devil Strikes.
Yeah.
So 15 years later, being able to sit here with you, this is dope for me. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if we're not in the moment no more that was 15 years ago.
In 5 years from now, they're not.
There's 14, 16-year-old me looking at me like, you see that bitch? You ever thought we was gonna go from rapping to his music and listening to the album he produced to kicking it with him now doing it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I know what it means. It's a lot of work, but it takes a lot because throughout there to now in my own music career, I've done so much I was ahead of the curve going to Houston, doing music with Lucky, doing music with all these people, and come back and they just like.
Yeah, Lucky Lou. I ain't that man. My bad. Lucky Lou was a big one too. He was part of the original crowd.
Oh yeah.
Lucky Lou. We had our things, but you know what? I'm always gonna love you, man. I'm always gonna love you, no matter what you go through. Whatever. I like what he's doing right now. He literally is little Christian on a mission when on a yacht. Then he went fishing. Man, when I heard that, I was like, "Yo, that is the little Prince."
I don't. Man, I hate that people want to still talk down on it, but that's the internet. And as much as I would want to sit there all day and defend him, at the same time, we all know he's a beast, man.
Yeah.
What he's doing now, the Christian music, there's no other sound like it. It's still him, just a new version of him, but you can't take who he is away from who he sounds like. You know what I'm saying? You can't.
But why would anybody trip? Because he said this. His first line that he ever spit that was global, that went global, was little Christian on a mission.
Yeah.
He already said it 15 years, 20 years.
Yeah.
He already said it earlier. So, you know what? He's just fulfilling his mission.
Yeah.
So let him roll. Let him roll. I wish I could do more music with him.
Never know. Might have to get a feature with him
Yeah,
to bring him
yeah,
down. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that boy's a beast on the mic. He don't fuck up. He spits it once, spits it twice. Exact. The things look
Oh yeah.
like a copy and paste almost. Like that.
Hey, when we got up for feature, bro, he would play. He had that.
Did you copy and paste things like that? I spit them.
Dope House Prince.
Yeah, the Dope House Prince. Oh yeah.
I tell you, that weekend that we want to go do a video with him, I asked him, he's like, how many more videos you got? He's like, I got like 10 this whole weekend. From Friday to Sunday night, 10 videos. I'm here for 2 hours. I'm here the next one for 2 hours.
Yeah. And then when we go back, I'm gonna do this other one.
Yeah, and that was a peak when not the peak of it. He came back 2017 with some fire on him, and he was just that year he was killing it, knocking it out.
I ain't gonna lie, man.
He came back that year when he remade Candy Toys.
Dog,
That went hard that
I'm
year.
gonna tell you, we had a team that was killing it on all sides. We had Gotti just big, you know, he was just boom, boom. Then we had the freestyler, you know, Lucky Lou, he was killing it. We had the Twin Berettas ahead of their time. Then we had Carolyn that could sing anything. You just put a thought in her mind. It was like, well, I want a song to go like, boom. She'd hit like, damn, she.
Yeah.
I didn't
She's
even know
still
what
doing
to
her
do.
thing right now. She kicking doors down in LA, still doing her thing.
Yeah.
Shout out to Carolyn, man. You think SPM's legacy right now still influences a lot of the Texas rap scene today? You think he still has a key factor in everything right now?
You know what? I look at the thing with South Park like when they mention names like Jordan, Kobe, things like that. These are one in a zillion quadrillions. They're not going to happen again, but they're going to have their own AIs and the new people that come through. They're going to. And when I'm in AI, I meant Allen Iverson at the time.
Yeah.
I could have mentioned a lot of other basketball players, but I'm just saying there was a lot of expectations on people after these people got out of the game. So just the same with South Park, there's not going to ever be another South Park. There's only one. That's it. But there's people that are going to follow after the groundbreaking things, which no matter how many times they said, we're not ready for you, we're not ready for you, we're not. It's all about this other thing, this other look, this other sound. It's like, well, we're not waiting for you. We're going to keep doing our own shit.
It's like nowadays, no matter which rapper you hear talk about beans and rice, you can't think of that line without thinking SPM. So like,
beans and rice.
that was him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So no matter how they say it, how they want to reward it nowadays, it goes back to him saying it.
But if you did an interview with the tops right now, or the tops 10 years from now, they'll always say, me, myself, I. And you know, that's okay. I'm good with that because I know what I did in the industry. I don't need, you know, but the first time Mexican OT came through Dope House when we were over there talking on the phone with Carlos, I don't need him to ever mention those days or those few little days that happened over there. I met the guy, he was cool as fuck, his whole crew was dope. You know, we talked to Carlos, they tried to work something out. And unfortunately at that time, I was really hoping that they would work something out, but it didn't pan out. It was cool. But that's one dude that I can say he's been the exact way you see him cool on the video is the exact way he was not on video. So OT, shout out to OT, he's doing his thing. Man, when I saw the Spotify's, I was like, yes, finally we have the up and coming people, you know, doing good things.
A lot of people did trip out that he was up there with us that year when he had passed him that year, I think, right?
Yeah,
by a couple mil. But I mean, that was amazing though, bro, to even be able to be up there with him, bro.
Yeah. Well,
especially him being in the situation he's in and never getting taken from his spot is crazy.
Yeah. That whole conversation is gonna lead into the rest of this.
No, yeah, man. Let me see. You mentioned you've sold 10 million albums under you being a producer, being a part of everything.
Yeah.
If there's one thing you can give somebody, the secret to having to build that type of success, what could we tell them? Like, what's the best thing we can give them advice?
okay, today the word would probably be, you got to keep posting. You got to keep posting. You got to post. You got to post. You know, but it's just being consistent. You just can't stop. You got to keep going. When I heard this little TikTok thing when it says, "Why do you keep posting when only 3 people like your thing and you got no views?" Because you never know when I'm gonna be that. When I heard that, I was like, "See, whoever did that little skit right there gets it. Right now, you're not gonna have nobody. You're not gonna have nobody right now. You gotta just have a core group of people who believe in you, and just you gotta keep moving forward. It doesn't matter if you have 50,000 people in front of you or 5 people in front of you. You give it your all, your best, your everything you can. The same you would for them that you. I see some artists coming out on stage and they're just like almost scared to move. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, I'm not saying do backflips, but man, move. Just
oh yeah,
have a personality, you know. Do something. Oh, on stage scared.
you rapping about this crazy shit, but you're on stage scared.
Yeah, on stage scared. The stage scares you. The hood don't.
This one says, from your perspective as a Grammy award-winning engineer, what separates a good artist from just a great artist in the studio? Like, what separates from being the greatest you can be and just being good?
Probably one word: settling. Settling for this thing that our culture does. I don't know where it came from, who invented it. I wish I could knock them out. Is the hey, it's all right, it's good. We can live with that. Whoever made that attitude that it's okay, let's just run with that. It's it never worked for anyone. You got to giving it your best every time is the only way that it's going to work. So there's a lot of people that come through the studio that we call it boot camp. And everybody knows when I said the word boot camp. I know there's a couple of y'all that y'all stomach just went, oh God, don't ever mention that again. Yeah, that was the worst. Yeah, but you know what? I tell them, they go to other people's studio and go like, man, you wouldn't last a day in Payne's boot camp. What are y'all doing? Why are you? You don't even know how to copy and paste. You don't know the grids. You don't know. What are you doing? Why are you scooting my thing over? You know. You eventually see it, but anyway, settling is the worst thing they could do. Whereas the best thing they could do is say, I can do better. I can do better. But at the same time, know your limits. I can do better, but it still sounds the same. Don't beat a dead horse. You know, if it's not good, go back to the drawing board and rewrite that shit. If you can't get it then after the 3rd or the 4th time, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Just, okay, it didn't work out right now, we can come back and get it later. Well, but time is money, paying time is money. Okay, well then you should have been rehearsing this shit at your crib instead of waiting until you got to the studio to do all of this. So, worst thing you can do.
That's a lot of people's bad perspective is they see what they see online and they think studio is just a party and come and do this and that. Not realizing when you're spending hard-earned money, you gotta come ready, bro. Go practice your song at home all week before you come in the studio so you can get that hour's work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can really, hey, yo, look, I already know I missed up here, I missed up there, but before you know it, your cadence is ready, your everything is ready to go. Yeah, of course. I think it's a big one too, just settling where you're at instead of becoming better.
Yeah.
Because I mean, working with somebody, when you become comfortable, you know, you guys both call each other out like, that shit sounds like shit. You didn't hear me? You know we should fix that. I know you already getting mad at me. Like,
I'm mumbling on the microphone. You know what? Let's just keep that.
Yeah, because personally, if I record my own music, I take hours. And that's because the same, you have that, I don't like that. It's supposed to be better. Could have been better. It could have. There'll be shit I won't even release because just one word didn't come out the way it was supposed to. Yeah. You're right, though. Settling kills shit, especially when it's what's a major mistake right now that you see independent artists making today?
think the number one thing has been this, with new artists. It's back in '90 to right now. Is this thing? I'm gonna try to put it in a. Uh, I want all this effort towards me, but I'm not going to invest in all this effort towards me. Like man, you truly want to make $1 million? You know, I say $1 million, just a goalpost,
Yeah.
whatever. You know, you want to be rich, you want to do this, you want to Bentley, whatever you want to set your goalpost to. You want that, but you can't even spend a couple of dollars, to invest in your craft. Like, oh man, my cousin make beats, my nephew make beats, you gotta seek out the professionals, the people who put in investment in their own careers to establish themselves. And then you've got to do the same thing for yourself. And they make the mistake of doing that. Uh, so they don't put in as much as they should put in. I see early artists making these mistakes, and they could have skipped 3 to 4 years. And they just said, let me get this investment. Like they pay the electric bill like it ain't nothing.
It takes money. Talent only going to take you so far, but money's going to help you open up doors that your talent can't sometimes.
Exactly.
Some people ain't going to always look at you like, oh, he's bad. They also want to, what can we do with numbers? What are we doing there?
Right. There's a story about the Neptunes that went into a studio that Jermaine Dupri was in. And it's a quick little story. It's about how they knew Jermaine Dupri was going to be there and these other people were all these A-listers. And what they did was they took their beats in there to drop them and to mix them. But they left the door open. I think Pharrell, if I'm not mistaken, he said, leave the door open. What do you mean leave the door open? Why? People can hear your shit. Exactly. They want them to hear our shit. So imagine that. Up and coming kids paying $150 probably dollars an hour to drop their beats. So that's an investment.
It is.
So when he walks around the corner and Jermaine goes, yo, what is all that? So that's not the exact story, but it's the way I like to tell it, because they at least had some type of fortitude to say, if we don't spend this money right now, no one's ever going to hear.
They spend the money to be in the right place at the right time.
They did their research and then I've heard them tell different stories. That was one of the early stories I remember hearing.
Tell us about DFO Music Group. What made you start your own label? What kind of artists were you looking for when you started all that? Like, what was your goal?
Okay, so I'm gonna admit something right now that's never been admitted. Probably Rob will be like, about time somebody said it. DFO was actually never a label. What DFO was a boot camp. If you can survive us, then we'll put you. We'll send you up. If you can't survive us, you're gonna stay. We're not gonna open that door for you. Man, trust me, I've heard all kinds of hate when people say, why I wouldn't give them the secrets to some plugins or some bullshit. Yeah, well, if Payne would have just showed me this, well, if he would have just like, dude, I showed you everything. The thing is you didn't think it was valuable at that time. That all the things that I was telling you was like, here's this dude talking again. He's talking and talking. God, just tell me what it is. I already told you 3 times what it was.
And if not, the whole time you're doing it in front of them, and it's up to them to eat up the game, right?
Right in front of them. Right in front of them. Right in front of them. I even go into their own cribs and do the shit and leave it there. But the thing, they say, well, yeah, but you didn't, because you didn't listen. What I said was, this is just to start you off. If you pay attention to what I'm doing and what I'm telling you, then you'll know that every song has its own life, its own destiny. Uh, so listen, okay. So back to DFO. Uh, it was like you're gonna. DFO was like a gate. Gate. I'm not. I'm, hey, Payne, hook me up with so and so. Hook me up with so and so. Hook me up with dope. Well, if you just hook me up with dope, how would you? You know, we all gonna eat. Oh, I hate that. I hate that. We all gonna eat. Yeah. Of course. Anyway, I'm eating now. Anyway, uh, so DFO was like, if you can handle all the things that we expected to hear, then we'll open up the door for this.
Makes sense. So don't waste. You're not gonna. I'm not gonna let you in to waste the time at Dope House when we know what the recipes. We know what they're looking for already.
Exactly.
Unless Carlos comes to the studio personally, he says, "You know what? I want them. Fucking let's go."
Right. I hear the noise. I hear the noise. As a matter of fact, that's exactly how no Fear No Evil happened.
Okay.
Ronnie Spencer, right after his big tour with One Day,
Yeah.
after all of that, he comes in the studio and he says, "What's up, Hank?" I love doing his voice. So he says, "What's up, Hank?" He's a big dude, but he has this crazy small musical voice.
Yeah.
It just is cool. It's "What's up, Hank?" So he goes, "What you got there?" And there's a keyboard in the middle of the whole warehouse. Press play, and the beat starts playing. They go, "Oh, I got something for that. I got something for that." And then one guy comes around the corner and says, "Oh, that's me. That's me. That's me. I don't care what anybody say. That's me." And then Ronnie says, "I already got something for that." He goes, so they're talking to each other. And he goes, so Gotti tells him something. They're discussing what I'm trying to. Oh, I gotta sequence this shit. While they're talking, man, I'm not gonna miss this opportunity. Man, I'm running around like crazy trying to get the session up, acting like it ain't nothing. Then when they finally look towards me, I'm like, "Y'all ready, man? Why you wasting my time, man?" trying to add to it. Anyway, so he goes, "Yeah, fear no evil, man." And Gotti's like, "Oh man," I can see Gotti's goosebumps. He's at the same time, he's like, "So, So we're doing the song, everything's happening. We're about to record it. Carlos walks in and says, Where's Ronnie? Where's my boy Ronnie?" And they hear the song going on. He hears the song going on. He goes, "Oh, I got something for that. I got something for that." So this whole song, Fear No Evil, happened within a matter of like 15 minutes. There was no writing, no nothing, no pre, nothing. I was just making a beat in the middle of the warehouse because I had this one thing where for a while where I was like, strip everything down. I just want the keyboard in the middle of the warehouse. I want to press play and whoever's feeling it, step up. But if you fuck up, you're gonna be, everyone knows.
Yeah.
So this was the main stage. This was America's Got Talent. This was, you step up, then you better do something. So, Ronnie steps up, Juan Gotti steps up, South Park steps up, boom, legend, Grammys. Not even a year later, we're at the Grammys accepting our nomination. Sometimes that's how it happens.
It's an amazing feeling, huh?
It is. It was an amazing feeling. I'm telling you, sitting in that seat, looking at Selma Hayek right there, Cheech Moran right there, Ricky Martin right across the way, Intocable right there, Pesado right there on the other side of me, Los Tigres on the other corner. I'm like, dude, I'm not supposed to be here. Gotti's like, he's bigger than life. He's a big dude, right?
Yeah, that's my boy right there. I know Gotti too very well.
The whole look on his face. As soon as they mention his name, he's yo, keep it straight. But it was dope. So whatever the question was, I know it was like
like what started the label.
What started
but
the
we
label.
know it's not a label no more. It was
right. It was the boot camp to get you to this point. And once you got to that point, you didn't fuck up. You were a trained assassin. After you survived dope, DFO, you're like, them DFO motherfuckers, they knew. They know what's going on. You open up a mic and They got it. So yeah, Quota, Twin Berettas, Carolyn Wangati, they weren't ever signed to DFO, but they went through us to get to the other side. Carolyn, on the other hand, she was a big fan in early days, staying with. But I was like, I don't think we're ever going to be a real record label. It was just too much for me at the time to really feel like we needed to put.
You were still balancing running Dope House and
right,
everything.
right. So I said, the best thing to do is for Gotti to get signed and you to be independent. That way you could control your own future, not let somebody tell you what to do or how to do anything like that. The twins got signed. There was just a bunch of other internal issues why things happened and not happened. But
it worked out for the best of a lot of it.
Back to DFO, it was always a training camp. Survive us, you can survive anything.
That's good though. Yeah.
Walk into any studio knowing what the fuck was up. Any studio, any computer program, any microphone, hey, this shit don't sound right, Hey, turn this up, you want to record yourself? By the time you left DFO, you could record yourself.
That's good. You took something with you from the studio. You weren't just an artist.
Hey, everyone from DFO knew how to record themselves, mix themselves, and burn themselves and get themselves out there. They all, by the time they left our camp, they knew they could do their own shit at their own.
That's good, man.
Every artist.
Just a lot of people don't know how to do it nowadays.
Every artist.
So you ready for the big question? Let's see this one.
Man.
The big question is, before we even start with this one, a lot of people don't know we're not at the regular EP Foods compound the way we usually are.
Yeah.
Y'all probably think we're way somewhere else. We left El Paso, but little do y'all know, we're in El Paso, the West Texas recording studio, and Payne is in El Paso. He's been living in El Paso. He's been working here. I'm going to go ahead and put all the information at the bottom of this when we air it. Y'all can book studio time with him, beats, everything. So I'm not gatekeeping nothing. I'm giving y'all the sauce. It's up to y'all to grab it. Like I said, I'm not gatekeeping none of the sauce. I'm here to give it to y'all. So here's the big question. Why are you in El Paso?
Okay. So in the 25, 26, 27 years I've been doing music professionally at the top level, I've had some breaks. 2 years here, 1 year there, 3 months here. And every time I needed that break was because a lot had built up and it seemed like it was just the same old. And something needed to change. In every company, sometimes there needs a new product, a new something, just revamp the brand, the logo needs to change something. Every company knows. Certain many years you got to change something up. So for me, I had already gone through these phases with Dope House with every album. Every album that's come out has always been a very, very, very taxing. Since when Devil Strike all the way to the Son of Norma to just everything in between, been very, very taxing. But it got to the point where I felt like I just didn't see our culture blowing up the way it should. I'm 25 years in at Dope House. I'm proud of all the things that we've done over there. But I don't see number 2, number 3, number 4. I don't the rap industry, without getting where people are going to say talk trash, is they have a bunch of artists. But our culture, the Latin culture, had very few that barely reached. Barely reached. I'm not going to name no names because if I say barely reached it, oh man, I went way past that. Why are you going to say that, man? It's like, okay. So what I'll say is this: is I had to. I left Houston to find out the origins of our culture. So there's a lot of places in the United States that claim our culture, our culture, our culture. But it's every place you could name is far away from Mexico. And some people are like, well, I don't know nothing about Mexico. Like, that's not the point. What I'm saying is there's a point where it's Mexico, and then there's a point where it's America. But something is happening with our culture that is causing us to say, you're not real, you're not this, you don't speak Spanish, you don't. It's like we're constantly talking shit, or kind of throwing stones at each other. And there was this point where it's like, I need to find out what is stopping this. Why is there not, you know, again, there were not. I'm not saying that there's South Park is the one and only forever, and there'll never be no one like that. Yeah, he is the one and only South Park. But there should be more artists popping up. So it was just like, I don't understand why we don't have more of our time, more of our culture popping up. Why don't we have 9 artists? Just boom, boom, just hitting the news, making all the. So something in me just said, uh, well, a lot of spiritual things that happened in my life that I had to make a decision and say, the season at here is going to change. And you need to go to the next season, see what that holds for you. So Carlos, Dope House, they have this ecosystem that's going to be there forever. But what about everyone else? What about everyone else? What about all the up and comings, all the dreamers, all this stuff? So if you look at the timing, and I know this is going to be very controversial, but when I left Houston 3 years ago, you start seeing things happen, right? Start seeing names, OT, FOMOD, OC Chris, OC Chris. You start seeing people coming up, and that was like for me saying, okay, God, there's so many ways I could say it, but Corpus, and McAllen and all that, all the way up to El Paso, it felt like El Paso was the last place of where the culture is the most potent, meaning there's Juarez, there's America, and there's El Paso. There's the Mexican of the most Mexican. There's the most, you can't get any more Mexico than, Mexico City, I guess, but Juarez, that's no question.
Majority of our population crosses every morning
Yes,
to be here.
Right. And then there's El Paso. And then there's America. It's one of the very, very, very few places on the planet Earth where that is happening. So I was like, you know what? I got to go there. I got to figure this out. I got to figure this out for our culture. I'm not trying to paint myself as this savior, whatever. Like, I'm just simply saying, if you don't do it, who's going to do it? So I was blessed enough to have the things that I had in Houston and do the things. But for our culture's sake, I wanted to come here and say, we need to find out why we don't support each other. Why there's very few artists coming out.
It's El Paso because we get left in the dust. And
this is the most important place because this is the most, like, if you think about it, it's the corridor for the sound of of course, it's Chuco Town, but at the same time, not everybody lives Chuco, Zoot Suit, and all this. There's a lot of people that, forgive me, audience. There's a lot of people that are like, yo, Nick, what's up, Nick?
Yeah, it's the new generation.
Houston talk. Houston talk. If it offends you, I'm sorry. But that's how Houston and Dallas and different people talk. But see, that's what needs to change. You can't hate on them, and they can't hate on you. Well, that's those Mexicans over there. That's those Mexicans over there. See how we're killing each other? So my thing is, if I can get a group or a group of people from, and I'm giving you a shout out, Las Cruces, come on in.
Juárez too.
Don't be shy.
Juárez too. If y'all want to come work with him, so alguien de Juárez se quiere cruzar, venir para acá, trabajar con Pain, están abiertas, las puertas abiertas ahí. Les estamos dando gas que lleguen.
Yeah, so Las Cruces, I know you got talent over there. Bring it on in. I know you got it. From El Paso, you know, you already had your good shine with the Khalid. Yeah. He got his nomination and a win. So, but that's not the end of the story. You got plenty more. The culture, the people, the food, the lifestyle, everything that you know about your grandma, your abuelita, or whatever you want to, your abuelito, your little viejitos, and all this, all the stuff you ever wanted to learn about our culture. It comes from here. All that stuff. You're in Houston and you have a grandma, abuelita that comes and cooks sopa. Guess where it comes from? You got an old uncle that talks shit, loves to get drunk and get fucked off. Guess where it comes from? It comes from here. All of the things that you feel like make you who you are, that's real out there in the world, comes from here. That's why I had to come here and say, if we can get some artists to come out of here, then I'm pretty sure, I have true faith that all this hate between our culture is going to get squashed. And I know who's afraid of that. I'm not going to point you out, and I am pointing you out. I know they're in New York, and they're Plaza One, Universal. See, I named it. My bad. And there's people that Payne's part of that Illuminati. Payne's part of that Illuminati. Hey, look. We can make it happen. We can beat all of that. We just believe that we can, and we show them that we can. And you know what? We don't need their shit, man. We can do this on our own. You've heard this before. It can happen. We can do it. We have enough here to start and show that not only do we have Chukotan and Zoot Suit and all this, but we also have, what's up, my G? What's up, man? What's up, man?
Y'all kind of had that recipe with Dope House because, like, Gotti, some people consider him like a cholo sometimes, gangster rap, but you had Lucky on the other side too. So you built that already with being with them already. You know, we built that sound here with the right group too. I mean, it doesn't have to be a group, but that should show y'all we could work together.
Right. You don't have to hate on that guy that says nigga. You know, get mad at me all you want, but at the same time, you don't have to be orale pues, vato, que. You know. We're all the same people, man. Yeah. We're all the same people. It's your nephew. You know you got a nephew talking that way. You don't even lie. You're probably your son. They
went from Cholos to Edgars.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I got all love for the Edgars, for the new ones coming up. I got the Quaches. I see the trucks out here, man. Y'all ain't seen trucks until you see the trucks out this motherfucker. They built that shit strong. You going over them sand dunes, man? Y'all ain't about white sands, the red sands. Hey, there's a reason why they're red.
But El Paso is changing. It is growing. Because you can't tell me you would have come a couple years ago. You would have seen what we showed you the other day. We got our personal cars are bolted up on swingers now in El Paso. You know, you wouldn't have seen that years ago. Now it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I see that at some of the parks, from a Rampla to a swinger, right there next to each other. Cooking, barbecue, the little grill that you put a couple of charcoal, some hot dogs, and then get the fuck off out of it. We can do that, not just here. We can do that in Houston. We can do that in Dallas and West Texas. I'm here for. We got to build West Texas up from Odessa all the way down.
I got an audience from Midland, Odessa that watches too.
Yeah.
Like I said, I used to miss with Booster back in the day. So respect is due. Whoever's left over from Booster's camp, everybody from Moneyland told us that y'all want to come through. He's in El Paso. I know it's close to y'all from there to Houston, but I mean, shit, he's still accessible to y'all as well.
I will travel. I will travel. I've been from here to Albuquerque. Even I'm feeling Albuquerque. Shout out to that Crazy Bobby. You know who you are. Uh, Crazy Bobby. I tell you, boy, that's one dude that was long story on that one, but he he's gonna do some things for your boy that I just appreciate you, man. I appreciate what you did for me back then. Uh, Go ahead, but West Texas, get at me.
Yeah, man.
Too much talent over here. There's a group that I'm working with called the Texas Tyrants. They sound like what is that? Mighty Ford, Everlast, A Day in My Shoes.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a group from West Texas, oil field. Shout out to the oil fields, man. Y'all some real tough ass. Well, them boys got skilled stone hands. What's up, Payne? Bam! Like, oh shit. Damn, them boys from the oil field. They living hard lives. Hard shout outs to the oil field dude.
So we're gonna hit you with the last question right here. This is a dope one. Once it's all said and done, what do you want people to remember Jaime Payne Ortiz about? Like, mark you left in the Texas game, the legendary status. Like, what's the one thing you want to leave behind in this game? The mark that you left in it. Something you want to.
A while back, I had this crazy thing in my mind where I would have this family in this house where I have this picture, like something like this, with me, just standing there, whatever pose. And people say, hey, you may not have heard, you may not have been in the news, but that guy right there, that man right there, he made it happen for a lot of people, not just for the family, but for his culture. Uh, I know my place, and it was very, very hard for me to accept it when God said that I may not see the fruits of my labor in my time. It's very, very hard to say, well, if I'm clearing this swamp, I want to be rich right now. I want to be popping ball. I wanted to do all that stuff that everybody wants to do. But when He put in my heart and soul that you may not see that, are you still willing to be faithful? The fact that I felt like I was being called to do was enough. So is there a mark? My mark is going to be all the albums that stand the test of time. With all these other albums that come out and kind of blow up and fizzle out, you're going to hear my songs forever. You can name a song that's your favorite, and I probably had something to do with it. So for me, I'm good. As long as I can look into my family and my grandsons and future grandkids' face and say, I did the best I could, and for God to say you did well, then I can see my daughter again. Rest in peace, Jessica Marie Ortiz. That's it.
I appreciate you, brother. It means a lot, brother, to have you here. Well, you have us here, but like I told you from the beginning, since I started promoting it, brother.
Yeah.
To me, it's an honor to be with you. It's a lot of respect. You've been in rooms and in places we all wish we could be. You got to see the game come from what it was to what it is now, and now you're here to help us out in El Paso.
Yeah.
So we appreciate that a lot too. We put in the sauce out there. We letting them know you're available to them. You're at their reach. It's up to them who want to take it and use it to their advantage. Right now, man.
Well, there is one person I do want to say that if it wasn't for him, I don't think any of this would be possible. None of me being here would be possible. I probably would have showed up and just not been able to do what I needed to do. Is Mark Franco, Mark A&T. He's somebody that's you're going to hear about. He's a great man. He's sacrificed a lot to have things happen that shouldn't have happened. He's gone through a lot of trials, a lot of tribulations in such a short period of time to believe in this in something that most people just you know that they see no end in sight. For him to believe in the stuff, it's incredible. Mark, I just gotta say I appreciate you. We're gonna make it.
Shout out Mark
We're
A&T.
gonna make it.
And Mark made it through his own DFO. If he's still here, he made it through the DFO.
Yeah, yeah.
He got some fire coming up soon, man.
Junie, you next. Who else we got? J.O.B. Come on, come on, man. You gotta come through. Benny, you gotta come through, Benny. The only way
Oh,
we're
you
gonna
talking
make it
about
happen.
Benny St.
Yes. Benny St. Clair.
We
Come
were
on,
just here
man.
last week.
I know.
It
Come
was,
on, Benny.
I gotta get his interview knocked out too. Shout out to my boy Benny. When you watch this shit, you need to come through. Matter of fact, we'll do the whole episode here if we have to. We'll knock out 2 and 1 with that night.
Yeah. Oh, and I do gotta mention, you had an artist with you that night. The first night.
My boy Young Xander.
Young
That's
Xander.
someone I'm pushing and standing.
Hey, that little boy right there. You're gonna see some things happen with him. You're gonna see some things happen. Hey, let me churn him up.
See, a lot of people were in my inbox instigating, trying to hate us, like, oh, you're in the room working with Payne and he's Dope House, and they just had this yada yada fallout because you're working with OTR now and because of Lefty. I said, but end of the day, the artists in the bottom, the producers, all that stuff, what was said and done, don't have nothing to do with us.
Hey, I'm gonna tell them right now. I'm about building futures. I'm not about that bullshit, man. I'm about building futures. And I'm here to build even bigger futures. So,
and matter of fact, I got Lefty coming on the 1st of this month, so don't be surprised. I'm trying to bring him to the studio here.
right?
I want to bridge that gap. That's the reason we're starting OTR Texas.
Okay,
It's time to bridge the California, Texas, and Paso's going to be the one that's going to make it happen.
This is the corridor. This is where it's happening. See, that's the other part. I didn't know how to incorporate that into the system, but look, that's how we make the shit happen. From Houston to LA, we make that happen. It's over.
Especially we can, man.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah.
We'll make it happen. Make it happen because good people, good hearts will always prevail.
Yeah. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man. Everything. Stay with Mexican EP Foods, man. Till next time. Yeah.